The Sikorsky UH-60L helicopter is equipped with several different navigation equipment. ADF, ILS and VOR receivers, which allow us to navigate using ground beacon stations. Plus a Doppler GPS equipment, that allows navigation without depending on external stations. On this mission we will learn to follow a flight plan using this latter Doppler GPS unit. The mission includes the following sections. Doppler GPS unit review. Enter a new waypoint. Takeoff. Follow a waypoint route. Landing, optional. The approximate mission time is 30 minutes. Press spacebar to begin. If the cockpit interior is too dark, activate the flashlight with left Alt plus L. If the yellow cross cursor is not visible, press left Alt plus left Shift plus C, to show it. You can adjust the sound volume produced by the background air traffic, by moving the in-cockpit sound slider, on the DCS options, audio screen, which you can access by pressing the escape key. This instructor's volume level can be adjusted with the helmet sound slider. Also, you can press spacebar to skip long voiceovers. Press spacebar to continue. The Doppler GPS navigation set, DGNS, fitted to our helicopter, is the AN/ASN128B unit, which provides worldwide navigation, with position readout available in both Military Grid Reference System, MGRS, and latitude and longitude coordinates. The figure shows the components of this system. What we see in the cockpit is actually just the CDU or computer display unit. In addition, the DGNS makes use of the HS1 and 5 SI instruments, to provide steering information to the pilot. We will now do a brief review of its functions and displays, and mention which aspects are still not implemented on the sim. Mode Selector. This knob selects the mode of operation of the DGNS. Its positions are off. The unit is turned off, but its non-volatile memory retains the stored waypoints data. Turn the mode knob clockwise, with a right click. Lamp test position. This function is not yet implemented. Test position. This function is not implemented yet. MGRS selects navigation mode with Military Grid Reference System coordinates. In the navigation mode positions, MGRS or LOT, long, of the mode knob, power is applied to all system components, and all required outputs and functions are enabled. LOT, long, selects navigation mode with latitude-longitude coordinates, otherwise identical to MGRS mode. GPS, LDG places the navigation set in GPS landing mode of operation. Not implemented yet. For this mission, please leave the knob at the latitude-longitude position. The DGNS display is currently showing its startup screen, with its software release date information. OK means that you must acknowledge it by pressing the Enter button. The next page displayed shows the version information of its internal database of aeronautical navigation data, the DAFIF, Digital Aeronautical Flight Information File. Acknowledge it by pressing Enter again. Good, the DGNS system is now ready to use. We will next review the information that can be accessed by means of the display knob. Display Selector. This knob selects navigation data for display. Its positions are Wind, UTC, data. Displays wind speed and direction. The top line of the display shows the current waypoint number and name, currently waypoint 01, named WP01. The digits on its right represent GPS status information, but it's not really simulated. Below you'll see the wind speed and direction. In MGRS mode, speed, distance, altitude measurements will always be presented in kilometers per hour, kilometers, meters. In latitude-longitude mode, units will be presented in knots, nautical miles, feet. On the bottom left of the page you will see more. This indicates that there are further pages available in this display mode. To cycle through these pages, press the Enter, PAGE, key. In most cases, the last page is marked with N to indicate that you will return to the first page on pressing Enter. The second page of the wind, UTC, data display, shows the current time and date. Press ENT once more. The last page of this display shows a menu for accessing other systems. With the exception of networking, these systems are not implemented. The networking entry provides access to the multi-crew feature of this mod. Next, turn the display knob clockwise, with a right click. XTK, TKE, key. Displays steering information, cross-track distance and track angle error, and GPS variable key status. It shows a visual representation of your course track error and relative direction of travel to the waypoint. It is a digital version of the HSI course deviation bar in VOR2, from Arrow. The cross-track, XTK, field is the correction needed to be made to return to the course. For example, if XTK is left, L, aircraft is to the right of the desired course and must be flown to the left to regain the initial course. The track error, TKE, field, shows the track correction error. The figure shows a diagram representing these terms. Further pages for the XTK, TKC, key display have not yet been implemented. GS, TKNavM displays the current ground speed and track angle of the aircraft, and the direct track to the selected waypoint. The GPS and nav data is not simulated. Further pages for this display have not yet been implemented. PP. The present position page shows the current position of the aircraft in the chosen coordinate type. Press the ENT key to see the second page. The second page shows the GPS altitude and magnetic variation at the aircraft's current position. The distance bearing time display page shows the current flight plan and leg, not functional, the distance and bearing to the selected waypoint, and the estimated travel time remaining. The second and third pages display non-simulated GPS information about the selected waypoint. You can check them using the ENT key. You can use the increment or decrement keys to browse other stored waypoints. Try them. The figure shows our current flight plan so you can see what waypoints are available. You can also select a waypoint simply by typing its number, for example press 4 to recall waypoint 04. Note that waypoint 0 corresponds to our mission spawn point. For this mission, please leave selected the waypoint 01, by pressing 1. The Waypoints and Targets page shows the position of waypoints. This page is used for the creation and modification of waypoint data. Its second page displays the altitude and non-simulated GPS information about the waypoint. The Datum Route page contains a menu for accessing and creating flight plans and other settings. These are yet to be implemented. We will now learn how to create a new waypoint. For this practice, we will create a waypoint located on the center of Cocos Island. First, set the display knob to its waypoints and targets position. Good, now press the increment key until you reach an empty slot. It should be position number 7. Note that the first line of the display keeps showing WP01, as it is the waypoint currently selected for navigation, while the remaining lines show data for the waypoint that you are currently editing or creating. Do not get confused by this. Press spacebar once you have selected an empty slot. Now, press the keyboard key to go into keyboard entry mode. The currently selected item will start flashing to indicate it can be edited. Press the keyboard key again to cycle through lines to edit. On this page, the first editable item is the waypoint name, the second is the latitude and the third is the longitude. Select the first item and then press spacebar. We will use the name Cocos for this new waypoint. When entering letters, you must select the appropriate letter left, letter mid or letter right keys, before pressing the corresponding number key to enter a letter. For example, to enter a C you would first press letter right and then press the 1 key, as that key can enter either an A, B or C. Type now the sequence Cocos. If you make a mistake, press the clear key to erase the last entry. Note that there is a bug that changed the slot number from 07 to 01, please disregard it. The new waypoint will still be saved on position 07. Now that you have the waypoint name written, press the keyboard key to enter the value and advance onto the next line. This item corresponds to the latitude of the new waypoint. For Cocos Island it is north 13 degrees 14.33 minutes, since we are in latitude-longitude mode, else we would use its MGRS coordinates. Press 5 for north, then follow with 13 and 1433. Press the clear key to clear a mistake. Press the keyboard button once you have the correct latitude, to advance on to the next item. This last item corresponds to the waypoint's longitude. For Cocos Island it's east 144 degrees 39.18 minutes. Press 2 for east, then follow with 144 and 3918. Press clear to correct any mistakes. Press the keyboard button once you have the correct longitude. Now that you have entered the 3 items needed for the new waypoint, press the Enter key, to save it. Good, you can now use it as any other waypoint. Press spacebar to continue. Now that we have seen how the computer display unit of the DGNS system works, we need to select it as a navigation source, to link its output to the VSI and HSI instruments, and also to the HUD. First, enable the Doppler GPS navigation mode by pressing the Doppler GPS button on the Command Instruments System panel. Next, enable the Navigation Master mode, by pressing the highlighted button. Verify that the number 1 pointer on the HSI has moved to the direct bearing to the DGNS selected waypoint. As we are beginning the mission, be sure that the waypoint 01 is selected on the CDU display. Use the increase or decrease buttons to select it, in case waypoint 01 is not the one currently selected. On the HSI, the distance to waypoint flag should have disappeared and its top left counter is showing the direct distance to the selected waypoint. Note that the HSI shows the distance in kilometers, while the CDU shows it in nautical miles. Now, let's enable the HUD, by right-clicking on the highlighted switch. On the heads-up display, the bearing and distance to the waypoint should be visible, as shown on the figure. The bearing is also marked by a chevron on its compass ribbon. Please note that waypoint incrementing must be done manually, using the increment or decrement buttons on the DGNS, as it will not increment automatically even if you precisely overfly the waypoint. At this point, we already have clearance to take off, so there is no need to contact ATC. Release wheel brakes if held, and move the cyclic forward of neutral. This will start forward movement of the helicopter. You can use the trim release keybind to set the cyclic to its current position, making it easier to maintain the aircraft's attitude. Smoothly increase the collective lever while controlling heading with the anti-torque pedals, as the helicopter gains speed. Liftoff. Keep the helicopter level with small movements of the cyclic. You might need to pull the cyclic back a bit, to prevent the helicopter from staying too close to the ground. Strive to keep the runway heading until you reach the end of it, with small cyclic and rudder pedals movements. Once leveled and smoothly add collective to climb and attain a higher speed. Good. You have reached the end of the runway. You may now turn left, to head towards waypoint 1. There are two main methods by which you can maneuver the helicopter more easily. 1. Press and hold the trim release button. Next, fly the aircraft onto the desired attitude, and then release the button. 2. Use the trim hat switch to adjust pitch and bank angles. This is a very fine adjustment, so keep the hat button pressed until you achieve the desired pitch and bank. We suggest using method 1 whenever maneuvering, such as during takeoff, landing or hover adjustments. Method 2 can be useful for making fine adjustments to pitch, to control airspeed, and for small heading corrections. You have reached Waypoint 1. Well done. Now, press INC to select Waypoint 2 on the DGNS. Turn left to head towards it. Good. You have reached waypoint 2. Now, press the increase button to select waypoint 3 on the DGNS. Turn slightly right to head towards it. Very good. You have reached waypoint 3. Now, press increase again to select waypoint 4 on the DGNS. Turn slightly right to head towards it. Well done. You have reached waypoint 4. Now, press the increase button to select waypoint 5 on the DGNS. Turn left to head towards it. Good. You have reached waypoint 5. Now, press increase again to select waypoint 6 on the DGNS. Turn left to head towards it. The next waypoint is a landing waypoint, but it is optional. Press backspace if you want to attempt a landing at Antonio B1 Pad International. Press spacebar if you prefer to end the training at this point. You have selected to perform a visual landing at Antonio B1 Pad International. Tune the UHF radio to its preset 6, and call ATC to get landing clearance. On the communications menu, select F5, ATC, F1, Antonio B1 Pad International, F1, inbound. Press spacebar once you are cleared for landing.
Enfield 1-1, fly heading 067, port 4, QFE 29.66, runway 06, to pattern altitude.
Align with the runway. Reduce collective and use the cyclic to attain a nose-down attitude and reduce your altitude.
Enfield 1-1, cleared for visual, contact tower. Enfield 1-1, check landing gear. Wind 127 at 4 meters per second. Runway 06.
Touchdown. Reduce collective. Keep the helicopter within the runway, with small movements of the anti-torque pedals. Pull back a bit on the cyclic, to reduce speed.
Enfield
You have
1-1,
landed successfully.
taxi to cruise area.
Press spacebar to exit the